I'm Jasmine Anderson. The hunt continues right now for the man who fired a shot at the Green Acres Mall. It happened yesterday on the second floor by the food court. No one was hurt. The police commissioner says the shoplifting suspect ran off and then drove away in a red SUV.
He tried to steal some clothing. He was putting on layers of clothing. He was confronted by the security personnel. When he was confronted, he started to struggle with him and then said, "I got a gun." He pulled his gun out. When they were struggling with the gun, a round went off.
Police describe the suspect as being in his early 20s, about 5'9", with a thin build and black hair with blonde frosted tips. A Patchogue woman could face a third trial in the killing of an anti-gang activist from Brentwood. A judge declared a mistrial on Anne-Marie Drago's retrial yesterday. The jury was deadlocked on the top charge of criminally negligent homicide. Drago was accused of running over and killing Evelyn Rodriguez in 2018. The jury found Drago guilty of petty larceny. Now, Suffolk DA Ray Tierney released a statement in quote saying, "We stand prepared to retry the negligent homicide charge." A man and woman are now charged in a burglary spree in Suffolk. Police say Ralph Pergula and Christy DeGiglo burglarized 5 businesses in the East Setauket, Mount Sinai, Center Reach, Port Jefferson Station, and Quorum since Thursday. Now, in each, they allegedly broke the glass door of the businesses and stole money. To the rising tensions in the Middle East, Israel continues to intensify its attacks on Hamas in Gaza. Israel says it killed 3 Hamas deputy commanders in airstrikes overnight. The U.S. fears the fighting could spark a wider conflict in the region. For the third day, trucks carrying humanitarian aid, including food, water, and medicine, arrived in Gaza. Hamas released 2 Israeli hostages to the Red Cross. You see them here. The 85 and 79-year-old woman were taken from their homes. Their husbands, along with about 200 others, are still being held. A Great Neck woman is describing how she escaped Hamas during the attack on the Israeli Music Festival. Natalie Zanandaji was in Israel for a wedding and joined several friends at the Supernova Music Festival October 7th. That's when rockets from Gaza began thundering overhead and terrorists stormed the event, leaving 260 people dead.
The festival security had then shut off the music and asked everyone to evacuate to their cars. As we ran, there were countless incidents, there were countless moments where we almost hid in a ditch with other children, and then we decided that that was a bad idea and that if the terrorists found us in the ditch, we would be done, we would have nowhere to run. And we decided to keep running instead, and later finding out that the children who stayed back and hid in that ditch were shot and killed.
Read more about Natalie and about the latest on the war on Newsday.com. Click Get More on the Newsday TV video box. Former President Trump is expected to face his former fixer, Lawrence native Michael Cohen, in court in the city today. Cohen, Trump's former attorney, is set to deliver a highly anticipated testimony. Trump will be a spectator for it at the civil fraud trial, threatening to disrupt his real estate empire. Plans for the Enterprise Park at Calverton could be headed back to the drawing board. The Riverhead IDA denied an application for financial assistance by Calverton Aviation and Technology last night. It said the venture group is not financially capable of developing a technology and aerospace hub on the property. The decision was applauded by opponents.
I think it's a glorious day that IDA knocked this project down, which the town people were against this from the beginning.
Riverhead Town Board now has the option to void the contract to sell more than 1,600 acres at EPCAL to the group for $40 million. LI Votes 2023, rising seas and a ferry terminal are 2 of the top issues in Glen Cove. Macy Egeland and Ted Phillips have the story you'll see only in Newsday.
This is Village Square in Glen Cove, and we are here with Newsday's City of Glen Cove reporter Ted Phillips talking about the issues that residents here are pretty focused on as they head to the polls this November. So, Ted, what are people here in Glen Cove talking about?
Well, one of the big issues in Glen Cove has long been the development of the ferry terminal. This is a terminal that was built with about $16 million of federal funds. Part of the agreement with the feds was that the city would get ferry service to Manhattan up and running for a year. So far, they haven't been able to do that. The terminal is finished, but the economics of running a commuter ferry have proved kind of difficult so far. The question is, will the feds claw that money back, which would be a big hit for the city, or will they be able to get the ferry service up and running, or will they come up to some other kind of agreement?
Also, it sounds like there's been a lot of development projects. I mean, we're in one here in Village Square.
This is a pretty recent development. RXR is a developer here. They're also a developer on Garvey's Point waterfront. It is nearing completion. It's not complete yet. A city official told me recently that some of the project had gotten slowed down, but if you go to the waterfront, you'll see a lot of nice buildings and condos that have come up from recent years. You will probably see more of that coming. A few more buildings are still left to be finished there.
And being on the North Shore, are there any environmental concerns for residents here?
The city accepted a report recently. It was a climate change report, and this report projects that by the end of the century, that due to sea level rise, that a lot of the waterfront will be subject to storm flooding, and this is a concern long term. And the city has to figure out a way, some strategies to deal with this, so that a lot of these areas that are being invested in aren't underwater.
Right. Thank you, Ted.
So much to consider. Read more about the issues in Glen Cove and what matters in your town on Newsday.com. Click Get More below the Newsday TV video box. Sports now. Half of the World Series is set.
For the first time since 2011, the Rangers are going to the World Series after having 6 consecutive losing seasons. They're the champions of the
Former Met ace Max Scherzer and the Texas Rangers crushed the Houston Astros in Game 7 last night, 11-4. They will take on the winner of the Diamondbacks-Phillies series.
Purdy steps through, floats it, he's picked, and that's it.
An upset on Monday Night Football. The underdog Vikings stunned the 49ers on the road 22-17. Checking out your hyper-local Tuesday forecast. Mostly sunny today and highs around 62 degrees. No complaints tonight. Clear skies. We dip down into the 50s. Tomorrow we warm up a bit. Mostly cloudy with highs around 67 degrees. A look at your 7-day forecast coming up.
Long Island weather is brought to you by Home Tax Saver, PTRC Incorporated. High School Sports is sponsored by PC Richard & Son.
Hi, I'm Greg Sarah. We begin with a big showdown in Suffolk Division II football, Bellport at North Babylon. And this one was all North Babylon. Chris Stumpf finding Jawara Keehee for the short pass. He zigzagged 45 yards for a score with just 17 seconds to go in the first half. Keehee, who came into the game with the Long Island leading 1,537 yards on the ground, well, he ran 26 times for 139 yards and 3 touchdowns. The Bulldogs, they beat the 2-time defending champion Clippers 48-6. North Babylon, they're now 6-1.
Not only offense was connecting on all cylinders, we had our defense just shutting it down.
I just had to get the touchdown, and I just had to just make a play up. I tried to be creative.
An overtime thriller in Nassau Conference 1. I was there. It was crazy fun. Carissa Kelman, she was there for the latest chapter in the Farmingdale-Massapequa rivalry.
It's the crosstown rivalry that brings out fans on both sides of the stands. Farmingdale and Massapequa, 2 unbeaten teams in Nassau Conference 1. This game will be a defining moment in their seasons and will play a big role in playoff seedings.
Both teams averaged more than 35 points per game before this one, but it becomes a defensive battle in the first half, where neither team averages more than 4 yards per play. Farmingdale's Matt Ippoliti even made this interception, but the Dalers just couldn't capitalize on any of their 3 forced turnovers. Farmingdale finally opens the scoring with just over a minute left in the third quarter on 4th down and 14, when quarterback Dennis Finkel lofts this long pass to the corner of the end zone, and it's James Collins with the reception. Massapequa's Tyler Villalta says not so fast. On the next possession, he breaks 3 tackles and explodes for a 54-yard touchdown run. Chris Biscetta adds adds the extra point kick, and the score is tied at 7 with 11 minutes left in the game. Regulation just isn't enough time to determine a winner, so bring on overtime. Each team has one possession, and Farmingdale's Sal Pasilico gets right to work, taking it 3 yards to the end zone. Luca Cotto adds the extra point kick to give the Dalers a 7-point lead. But when the Dalers come knocking, it's Villalta who answers. He puts up 6 points on this 1-yard run, and he's confident that he can run for 2 more. Massapequa tries to draw Farmingdale offsides, and it works. Villalta, now even closer to the goal line, seals the deal on this final run as Massapequa defeats Farmingdale 15-14.
I knew if I got the ball, I was going to get in, no matter what. We worked so hard for this, and I knew we were going to get in.
You know, the defense stepped up. They have all year, and, it's a tribute to them and, the type of attitude they have and the type of kids that they are, and they're just mentally tough.
In Farmingdale, Carissa Kelman, Newsday TV.
Great job, Carissa. Tip of the cap to Buddy Krimenacker, the Farmingdale coach, and Kevin Chipos, the Massapequa coach, the communities, the support, the bands, Farmingdale and Massapequa bands. What a great day for Long Island High School football. For more on these teams and more exclusive local sports stories, go to Newsday.com. Click Get More below the Newsday TV video box.
A hunt for Halloween treats. Elisa DiStefano has a story you'll see only in Newsday.
On the search for Halloween treats, our first stop here in Suffolk. At Blondie's Bake Shop in Centerport, there's a variety of fun, festive sweets. Everything looks and smells so delicious in here.
Thanks so much. We go Halloween crazy.
They bake creative cookies, cakes.
That is a chocolate cake with a chocolate fudge filling, and then a vanilla buttercream frosting, dark chocolate drip.
You cannot get cuter than these cupcakes.
Aren't they fun?
Yes.
They're marshmallow ghosts. Those are s'mores cupcakes. We don't get too gory. We stay on like the silly light side of things. These are like a chocolate fudge brownie trifle with cream, chocolate pudding, Oreo crumbs.
It's like chocolate heaven. What would you say is the most unique thing that you do here for Halloween?
I think that it probably has to be our jack-o'-lantern Pop-Tarts.
I love anything pumpkin. Look how cute this is. It tastes like pumpkin pie. Now to Nassau County Sweet Karma in Plainview.
We try to go all out. It's like we take fun items and change up the way it looks for Halloween. We make it a little spookier, a little scarier. What's Halloween without a little gore?
Get your fill of brains.
Never brain tastes so good.
And blood. If you have your eye on kid-friendly sweets, there are Rice Krispie Treat Pops, Monster Macaroons, and Cakesicles.
It's devil's food cake dipped in dark chocolate ganache. Devil's food is very popular for Halloween.
Devil's food for Halloween.
Yes.
I love those pumpkins. What are those?
Those are vanilla bean cupcakes with a pumpkin cream cheese buttercream.
Ooh.
One of the things I love is the 50-50 graveyard.
Dig in.
Dig in the graveyard.
Dig in. Elisa DiStefano, Newsday TV.
It's to die for.
Enjoy, Elisa. Very tasty. Read more about where to find local Halloween treats on Newsday.com. Just click Get More below the Newsday TV video box.
When you're covering the courts, it's paramount that you get your information from a trusted source. I feel that at Newsday here, we're documenting Long Island history every single day.
Newsday, covering Long Island like no one else can.
I'm Jasmine Anderson. Thank you so much for watching. We'll leave you with a look at your hyperlocal 7-day forecast.